Hey, I'm here with Chris Long, and we wanted to share with you a little bit about the Burnham Fellowship. Burnham is our 9-month intensive whole life discipleship program that runs weekly from the end of September through the middle of May. We're actually currently in our 5th year running this cohort that I give leadership to, along with Joel Miles and Sully Curtin. So yeah, just wanted to take a few minutes and talk to Chris about his experience. Chris, you participated in our 2nd year cohort, which was a couple of years ago now. Is that right? Am I remembering that right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I
Seems like a long time. Seems like a very long time ago. But
It does.
yeah, I think that's right.
That's right. Well, I would love if you could just share just a little bit maybe about what made you decide to participate that year. What was your process of signing up and participating?
Yeah, sure. So I think for me, I like when I was in college, I was just super intentional with rhythms of like reading, rhythms of like, I want to grow in my faith, I want to understand more. And I think that once I kind of left that college community, it was very easy to get pretty complacent or like just kind of, I don't know if complacent is the best word, but just like kind of plateau in terms of like my own personal development, and just like wanting to continue to push myself to learn more, think differently, go deeper. And I think after just like, I forget how many years after school it was that I did Burnham, but like after like, 5 or 6 years, I just felt like I need something to like help me just challenge myself and help me like continue to like use those muscles of learning and go deeper. And so I knew that if I like for me, like I had started and stopped like so many books like over the years, and like for me having some sort of structure and some sort of community to like help me plan for it but also have accountability with it, like that's really what stuck out to me. And I think that those things were definitely true of Burnham. I'm glad like that was like what piqued my interest initially, was to have a structure around those things.
Mm,
um, but yeah, I think that it helped me to like begin to set up those rhythms like going forward too. And so that
yeah.
was why I initially did that.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think that is a really good way to think about the cohort itself, is just creating a lot of structure and rhythm and digging into reading and spiritual practices and whatnot that you might not just do on your own.
Yeah, I mean the community thing was huge for me. Like even just from not like before I did it, like the community part was huge. But then also like throughout and then afterwards, even like it's just been like a big, I think a huge blessing. And I think, there's one like the learning component's one part, but then like the community around that learning has been yeah, it's been really great.
That's encouraging. And for those who don't know, the cohort is open to those outside of Holy Trinity as well. We usually have a significant portion of the cohort is made up of Holy Trinity folks, and so it's a great way to get to know other people at the church. But then we also usually have people from other churches that participate as well, and so it's a great way to just get to meet other people too. Chris, I mean, one thing for you is that you have changed careers pretty significantly since you were a fellow. But maybe if you could just share a little bit about like how has Burnham continued to have an impact on you and how you think about your work now.
Yeah, definitely. So at the time, I was working for a Christian nonprofit here in the city, and I think that working like in vocational ministry, it was almost like in my mind, I almost just assumed that I was serving the Lord. Like it didn't matter like what I was doing. Like I'm in vocational ministry, therefore I'm serving the Lord. And like I think Burnham really like revealed a lot of like my sin in that, meaning like God actually cares what's going on in my heart, not just what I'm doing with my hands or with my day. And so I think that, at the time I had a pretty surface level understanding of like what is work, what are we called to do, what does God care about on my like day to day in my work. And I think one of the things that has made a huge and like lasting impact is one, the way that I view work, but two, the way that I view like where does God want to be involved in my life. I think we're it's so easy, and I still do this, and like I like want to like continue to grow in it, but like it's so easy to compartmentalize our life where it's like, okay, these are my like Christian and spiritual things that I do.
Mhm.
At the time when I was working at nonprofits, like this fits into that category. But then all the other stuff is, on the other side, like, where I live and how I parent and, how I'm a husband and all these other categories that I would put over there. Speaking of which, there's my kids, if you can't hear them. And so I think I had a lot of compartments to my faith and to my work. And, I, like you said, I transitioned, right? So I went from Christian nonprofit into tech sales. And so working at a company downtown. And I think pretty immediately when I started there, like it felt like the Lord was kind of like stripping away some of the compartments and showing me like, you need to redefine and really expand how you view work. Like, what does it look like to worship God at work? And, when I go into the office or when I'm talking to somebody on the phone or reaching out, like, and interacting with coworkers, like all these different things that happen throughout my day that in the past, like maybe I wouldn't have categorized those as worship or as places to honor the Lord. Like I think God has really like used the Burnham curriculum as well as like just his word and the things that we talked about at Burnham to like help reshape and redefine, why am I called to the work that I'm doing today? Like what kind of impact am I having from a kingdom perspective? And I think values are a big part of that too, right? Like, where's my identity as a employee? And when I walk into work, like, what is it that defines me? All of those things were things that I think the Burnham curriculum was just incredible to help like begin to shape those things and restructure those things in my mind and put myself in a bigger picture for God's like plan for work.
It's a great, thanks for sharing that. I think it's always very encouraging just to hear that that these things continue to have impact in people's lives even in the years following. I think that you would probably encourage people to consider doing Burnham. We're about to open up applications for next year, and so maybe just really briefly, if you would say, why would you encourage somebody to consider doing the fellowship?
Yeah, definitely. I think as an adult, like just rhythms are like super important, like to me, and like I think it just is so helpful. And like Burnham, I think I had like some not good rhythms before, and I think Burnham was just a really great way to like begin again with some of these rhythms, like of reading, of processing things deeply, wanting to understand the word at a really deep level and apply it. And we do those things at church, and we do that with maybe community groups, but like Burnham was an additional layer of rhythm. And I think I would encourage for people who are looking for ways to challenge themselves from a learning standpoint, be surrounded by other people who want to learn and are motivated to really dive deep into the word. I think I would encourage you to check out Burnham. I think also if you're struggling with questions of like, does God care about my work? Is my work valuable? Why am I here? And not just work, but like, how you live in the city, or, how you interact with other people, or, just like pretty much any sphere of your life that you're like kind of questioning, like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? What has God called me to? I think the Burnham curriculum is really, formative for that and would be a good fit.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. I know I'm biased. It's probably the favorite thing I do during my week from September to May. And so we'd love to have you consider joining us this coming year. And we'd love to be able to share more about the program with you. And so you can check out the link that's below this video and join us for what we call a Taste of Burnham info call. We'll be doing that at noon on Tuesday, March 9th. You can ask questions. You can hear more from those of us who give leadership to it, as well as people who have participated in the past. So invite you to check that out, and would hope to see you there. Thanks so much for talking with us, Chris.
Sure thing.